The downward spiral of Willow Tate has become one of the most disturbing transformations Port Charles has ever witnessed. Once viewed as a devoted mother and a resilient survivor, Willow now finds herself lost in the depths of psychosis, rage, and revenge, her fractured psyche weaponized against those she once loved. As she drifts further from reality, the question that looms over the Quartermain estate is whether Drew, her partner and a man once celebrated for his strength and reason, will recognize her descent for what it is, or be pulled into the darkness with her. What began as quiet grief and unresolved trauma has now mutated into an elaborate campaign of psychological warfare, with Sasha and baby Daisy at the center of a cruel, meticulously calculated vendetta. In recent weeks, the tension inside the Quartermain household has been palpable. Sasha Gilmore, once hopeful about a fresh start after losing Brando and enduring years of loss, now finds herself unraveling under the weight of confusion, fear, and unseen manipulations. Initially, the oddities were dismissed: misplaced baby clothes, Daisy mysteriously moved from one room to another, Sasha's phone glitching and messages disappearing. But as the disturbances grew more frequent and sinister, Sasha began to question her own sanity. She was tormented by the creeping suspicion that someone was toying with her, orchestrating an invisible campaign to shatter her credibility. Unbeknownst to her, that someone was Willow. Fueled by a toxic blend of jealousy, betrayal, and a shattered sense of identity, Willow took it upon herself to target Sasha in the cruelest way possible, by attacking her through Daisy. The child Sasha had grown to love, to protect, had become a pawn in Willow's unhinged game. Evidence now points to a horrifying truth: Willow was the one who stole Daisy from her crib during a quiet night, moved her downstairs, and watched from the shadows as Sasha fell apart. She changed the baby's clothes, tampered with security footage, and manipulated every variable to make Sasha look unstable. It wasn't enough to hurt Sasha, Willow needed the world to doubt her, to turn on her, to isolate her. And now, as rumors swirl that Sasha may leave Port Charles, it seems Willow's plan is nearing its bitter triumph. But this isn't Willow's first act of sabotage involving Daisy. Months ago, a quiet scandal whispered its way through General Hospital's corridors. A baby switch, dismissed as conspiracy, had unsettled the staff. Daisy, it turned out, had not been with Sasha the entire time. The child had been swapped with another newborn not long after birth. That act, long buried beneath procedural confusion and hushed tones, now comes back into the light. At the time of the incident, Willow was a patient at the hospital herself. Having suffered a complete breakdown after losing custody, she had just given birth to Daisy. Her role as a nurse and her familiarity with hospital routines gave her unprecedented access to the nursery. It is now believed that in a moment of fractured clarity, she enacted the switch, removing her own child and planting a decoy in Daisy's place. The consequences of that act remain unclear, but it marked a turning point in her descent into delusion. What makes Willow's unraveling more terrifying is her ability to mask it behind a veneer of calm and compassion. She appears nurturing with Michael, attentive with Drew, and gentle with the children. But beneath the surface, something deeply broken festers. Her trauma, stretching back to the earliest years of her life, is extensive and grotesque. Raised by Harmony Miller, a woman whose own soul was bartered to a cult leader, Willow's childhood was a crucible of abuse. Shiloh Archer, the leader of Dawn of Day, not only manipulated and brainwashed her but sexually exploited her, leaving scars that no amount of therapy or love could fully heal. Layered over this history is her biological lineage, one drenched in madness and manipulation. Her mother, Nina, was kept in a coma for 2 decades, robbed of her daughters by Madeline Reeves, a woman so cruel she stabbed Silas, Willow's biological father, to death. Madeline's actions not only tore apart Nina's life but cast a shadow of instability over Willow and her twin sister, Nellie. And Nellie, whose reign of terror over Port Charles still echoes in its courtrooms and hospitals, is the clearest mirror to what Willow might become if she continues down this path unchecked. The sisters share the same blood, the same trauma, the same legacy of abandonment and rage. As Willow's grip on reality weakens, her relationship with Drew hangs in the balance. Drew, once heralded as the moral compass of the Quartermain family, is beginning to show signs of doubt. He's been distracted, split between his congressional duties and the domestic pressures of life with Willow. But absence does not equal blindness. Subtle changes in Willow's behavior have not gone unnoticed. Her erratic moods, her defensiveness, the vague explanations for missing hours, and her hostility towards Sasha have raised quiet alarm bells. Yet Drew's instinct is to protect, not accuse. That instinct may cost him dearly. The crossroads Drew faces now is one few could envy. Does he confront Willow and risk pushing her over the edge, perhaps triggering a complete psychological break? Or does he attempt to guide her back from the brink, trusting that love and loyalty can undo years of trauma and inherited darkness? There is also the deeper, unspoken fear that Drew himself may be complicit. By ignoring the signs, by defending Willow against all criticism, has he enabled the very horrors unfolding beneath his roof? And if the truth comes to light, will he be seen as her protector, or her accomplice? Meanwhile, Carly, ever the watchdog over her family's well-being, is beginning to connect the dots. Her concern for Sasha, mixed with her maternal instincts, has led her to investigate. Carly has always known Willow carried more emotional baggage than she let on. She tolerated it, even empathized with it, believing that Willow's past was behind her. But recent events have sharpened her suspicion. She's begun compiling subtle clues, questioning staff, revisiting hospital records. If Carly uncovers the truth before Drew does, the fallout will be catastrophic. Elsewhere, Michael remains caught between guilt and denial. His bond with Willow is rooted in shared grief, in the illusion of healing together. But Michael's loyalty has blinded him to Willow's increasingly volatile behavior. His trust in her was absolute, until now. As Sasha's pleas grow more desperate and Carly's warnings more insistent, Michael is beginning to question the narrative he once defended so fiercely. If Willow is capable of all this, kidnapping, sabotage, psychological abuse, what else is she hiding? How far would she go? The storm building around Willow threatens to engulf all of Port Charles. It is no longer a matter of whether she is dangerous, it is a matter of how many lives she will destroy before she is stopped. Her actions have already left Daisy in the middle of a custody nightmare, with Sasha teetering on the edge of emotional collapse. And the longer Willow's secrets remain buried, the more damage she will do. She walks the halls of the Quartermain mansion like a ghost, haunting her own life, tormented by pain she can't name and rage she can't extinguish. In the end, there may be no redemption for Willow, not because she doesn't deserve it, but because she may no longer recognize the line between love and possession, justice and revenge, memory and illusion. And if Drew chooses to stand by her, he too may be pulled into the abyss. Together, they may become a force that cannot be contained. Or, perhaps, one final act of betrayal will rip them apart, exposing Willow for who she's become, and revealing how close Port Charles came to being dismantled from within by the very people sworn to protect it.